Hey, welcome back to Four for the Road, everybody. I'm your host, Punk Rock's. It's just three of us today, and it's not who you think. We got Silent One Percenter with us. How you doing, Silent?
Good, good. Glad to be here.
Hey, I think my kid just got in trouble because he's got to run. He's running laps outside. I can see him from my window
That's gross.
because I'm still on quarantine. But I can watch him get punished outside.
Yeah, for those of you that missed it, we were joking about it last show about Dave being sick, but turns out he caught the Wuhan wheeze, and he's stuck inside for 2 weeks.
I got the spicy flu.
The spicy flu.
So what's the difference, Dave, between you being at home and doing nothing and being at work and doing nothing?
Well, at work I'd have to deal with asshole vets like you guys.
Hey, but he sends us cool videos of like him shooting his boss in the titty with a Nerf gun. Like
No.
allegedly.
And he's got to do chores at home because his wife is there.
They just open the door and they like throw food at me and then they close it real quick and keep going about their business.
And people that think like because Dave is probably the funniest dude we got on staff next to No Shame. People think that he's joking. He's not. He sends us videos. He started one up a couple days ago. He's like, "Hey, I hear him coming. And his kid just kind of like didn't even stop. Just like threw some. What was that? It was like some candy or something like that, right?
No, they were veggie straws.
Oh, they were veggie straws. Oh shit! So I thought it was sweet tarts.
No, dude, I love veggie straws. Those things are good. They can throw
know.
those at me all day.
That's even more disrespectful because he threw one veggie straw at you, like not even a couple.
He's got to get his exercise in. He's got to make loops.
Okay, cool.
PT.
But other than, I'd say the worst, I had a fever for like a day and a half, a little scratchy throat. The worst part has been like you can't figure out why because you don't feel that bad, but you have it takes all your energy. You're just like, ugh.
Yeah.
And so you're just tired constantly. I mean, it doesn't help that you're like stuck in a room so you don't contaminate other people, but it just makes you tired.
You know, the bad thing is, it's out there because, as both of you know, I've been feeling better for about a week or so, but I was sick for a couple of weeks myself, and then I never got a fever, but I didn't have any sense of taste at all. And like Dave, I had zero energy. I just wanted to sleep the entire day. Body hurting, which mine hurts all the time anyway because I'm old. But the weird thing is I went and did my COVID test and I tested negative. Which we've discussed with Tragic. I think there's a huge flaw in the testing system that they're doing. So you can feel like shit and still test negative for COVID, or you can not feel bad at all and test positive.
Did you guys hear what happened over? I think it was in like Nairobi or some shit. The government
I'm sorry, I don't keep up on Nairobian news.
Oh well, you should do it. I found it. I was googling nubile stuff, but like Nairobi popped up, so I figured, what the fuck. So the government, and this is a true story. This is a Googleable fact. The government received a bunch of the Nairobian government received a bunch of COVID testing kits, and with basically like a statement saying like, hey, look, like we're just trying to help out. Like, here you guys go. Here's a bunch of COVID testing kits. And the president was like, nah, fam. And they like tested like a pig. They like swiped some shit off of a fruit. And then like the soil out of some fucking plant. And they tested it. They sent it back. And they're like, oh, yep, all three of these fucking people that you tested came back positive for COVID. And he's like, yeah, get fucked. We're never using that again. Thanks. Wow. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, they had one of the hospitals they did that because they were questioning the validity of the test results, and they actually took the COVID. I think there was 2 or 3 samples. They actually took them out of the new package, put them right into the test, and sent them in without ever touching them at all, and they all tested positive. So. Like I said, the system is very flawed, and I said my personal belief that it'll all go away in November, after the election. But that's what I see, because H1N1 killed 3 times as many people as COVID, but it was never an issue. Y'all remember H1N1 last year?
Well,
right? Or a couple,
I guess I got that positive result. I've had a few minor stuff with it or whatever. I get it that it's real and it's probably serious for some people. I get that. If people were to ask me, I would say that, the news isn't going to report on ugly dudes like me who get it and have mild symptoms, because that doesn't get likes or clicks or traffic. They're going to talk about, they're going to talk about the 7-year-old that got it, even though that's rare. They're going to talk about the person that got it twice, even though they want to drive traffic, and I get that. I don't know if it's healthy for everybody as a nation to constantly be bombarded with only the bad news. Maybe they should interview some ugly people like me. But people ask me, I'm not a doctor. I don't understand shit about shit. If you are unhealthy or at risk, take precautions. Don't cough on people. Wash your damn hands. And just remember that for every case that you see on the news that's extreme, there's how many thousands more that are just me, a fat guy looking out my window while my son runs laps. I mean, don't be an idiot, but don't let them scare you either. Now, are we going to get into Silent's background or what?
Yeah, we just had to give you shit for having weak genetics and catching it first. So, Silent 1%er, how are you, man?
Good. Just getting in from work. I got to pay the bills and trying to settle in for the night.
You're like a nuclear physicist, right?
Yeah.
Something like that, right?
I work for the space program, though. Yes, I do.
See? Nuclear physicist.
Yeah.
So, if you're comfortable talking about it, because I know it's never polite to ask a pretty young lady her age, but how long you been riding?
Well, I truly got into riding. I got out of prison in 2010, and is when I started actually riding like as a lifestyle.
Well, you were into bikes and had bikes and stuff like that before that?
Yes.
Did you, as a kid, where was your influence from? Did you grow up around it? Did you have dirt bikes? Was, mom or dad into it? Anything like that?
No, actually they weren't. How I got into it was I was raised by my grandparents. I was raised in Cocoa, Florida. All right, Warlocks, of course, area for those of you that know Florida. I was raised directly across the street from the clubhouse. So when I say directly across the street, I mean directly across the street. So the club would come over on the weekends. My grandfather, he retired from the Army years and years ago, so he didn't have a large pension like, nowadays, retirement check is pretty good. It wasn't back then. And he was working at Pan Am. My grandmother wasn't able to work health-wise. So the club would come out, they would have their parties on the weekends. They'd bring us food, the leftovers and so on, and and make ends meet. But that's how I really became introduced to the club world, was watching them, seeing their parties. And the probates would come over and pick fruit off the trees, and they would cut the grass occasionally or help my grandfather cut the grass. And in exchange, we had several or a lot of acreage, I guess you could say. And they would come over and they used our land to park on, because the parking spaces at the clubhouse wasn't very big. So we had a lot of interactions, and that's what I grew up basically watching.
And how old were you at this time?
Oh, shit. 7, 8 growing up,
So this would have been 1950. I'm just kidding.
Well, no, you're being much more polite than I was waiting for a break. I was like, so when this is going down, it's like 1907, 8.
Yeah, I was an adolescent going into my teens, so I got several years of it, and
then you spent over 20 years in the Army, right?
Yep. And I joined the Army in 1988, and I took off, and on to new horizons, and Stop Laughing Punk Rock. I could see the fucking. You weren't even born yet, probably.
I was.
Or you were still in diapers.
No, I wasn't
He's
born.
still in diapers.
I was,
You
yeah,
were-
first off, I'm still in diapers, especially
Where
we had
were you
Chipotle
born,
last night,
Rob?
so that's just a safe move. No, I was born in 1989, man.
Oh shit! Yeah, I was in Korea in 1989. But yeah, I joined the army, and I was my original intent was to get out of Cocoa, Florida. The only thing really happening here at the time was the space shuttle program, which
And wait. For those that don't know, so you left Cocoa, Florida to get away from the only thing that was available was the space shuttle program, and now you are a big to-do with the space shuttle program.
Well, not the space shuttle doesn't exist anymore. Now it's rockets, so so that's what we're doing now.
He's trying to be all humble about it too. Like, no, man, it's just these fucking rockets that land themselves now.
Yeah.
No big deal. It's not. It's just
And for people that don't know or that are interested, if you don't mind sharing, what'd you do? What'd you do in the army? You did some pretty cool stuff that we get to talk about.
Yeah, that we talk about behind the scenes. Well, I started out as a 00 Bravo, which is a scuba diver, a rescue diver in the Army. Very, very few bubbleheads are in the Army because of the fact that it's a Navy school. And they don't. The Army trains a lot of other people, but there's not a whole lot of Army guys to go to other branches for training. But so I started out as a 00 Bravo. Went to Korea. Not a whole lot of diving in Korea, so I spent some time at Camp Humphreys, and then I'm 6'4", so I got the involuntary reassignment to the DMZ. At DMZ, you got to be at least 6 foot tall, so they screen everybody, and they want all taller guys to stand the lines up there. So I did that for the rest of my tour. And then from there, I went to New York, spent 3 years in New York on a nuclear weapons facility. And then from there, I was reassigned. I was supposed to go back to Korea, and I volunteered to go to Germany instead. So went to Ranger School. From there, airborne school, and then went on to Germany. Spent about little over 2 years in Frankfurt till it deactivated. And then from there, I went to Fort Lewis, Washington, the Ranger Battalion. And then spent almost 3 years at Fort Lewis, and then went to Fort Benning. Spent pretty much the rest of my career at Fort Benning, and ended up getting hurt in Iraq on my second tour there, and then got reassigned into a recruiting battalion where I was a station commander. So.
And during this time, were you riding it all, owning motorcycles while you were in, or kind of an afterthought, just concentrating on the Army stuff? Well,
yeah, I'm one of those guys that when I do something, I do it 110%, and then that's just how I am. That's what I focus on. So there is no off time for anything. I can multitask as long as it's within the same task, if that makes sense. I'm not good at spreading myself out in a whole bunch of different shit. So yeah, my military career, I focused on my military career. I was an adrenaline junkie, to say the least. If I can jump out of something or shoot something, or that's what I was doing. So
and you had an impressive number of jumps. I know there's not too many people with that many. And those were
pretty common. In Ranger Battalion and in group, it's you do a lot of jumps, but it's what you're constantly doing.
So
you just go down and put yourself on a manifest and you jump.
What kind of got you into riding more, or kind of got you into, other than obviously growing up around club life and stuff like that? People are probably wondering, okay, so now you're about to or have retired from the military. Some other things happened in your life, and now you're kind of, looking at you're finding your home in club life. How did that kind of come about?
I think it was the right time, which is really everything in club life is about timing. You know, in the military, you're constantly PCSing every 2 years, every 3 years. You know, you're going to a new home, you meet, you know, new, for the lack of a better word, coworkers, new soldiers, new environment. You know, it's look at club life, for example. We all know we have clubs that don't see eye to eye. You know, so when you join a club on the East Coast and you're in turn transferred to the West Coast, that might not work out real good for you in the club world. You know, it military wise, it doesn't matter to you because it's just another assignment, but not when it comes to the club. You know, so to me, the timing was right. I was retired. I was trying to settle down at home. You know, have a steady home life, and then I can dedicate myself to something that I felt to be worthwhile. And so that's when I really jumped in with both feet and took the plunge and said, okay, I'm ready to go down that road now.
What was like? Was there a was there a thing? What was like the main draw that you were like, club life is where I want to be? You know, people talk about the, you know, having something bigger than themselves, or the, you know, the brotherhood, or whatever the case may be. What was it? Was there a thing for you, or was it a combination?
You know, it wasn't about joining something bigger than me, because that really wasn't even in my focus. You know, what attracted me when it attracted me was the fact that, because, you know, my first club was a veterans club. It was, for those that don't know, is the Men of War. That was my very first club. What attracted me to that club was the fact that everybody was military, you know? So I was expecting everybody to think alike. I was expecting everybody to work together, you know? Everything that I experienced in the military, I was expecting to cross right over, just without the uniform. Now we got to cut, you know, but have the same ethics, morals, and goals, you know, and loyalty, the commitment, the dedication. I expected everything in the military to just cross right over because it's a military club, you know. That's what attracted me, was I wanted the military mindset without still being in the military. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, as a military guy, you know, is that something you feel like, now that you can look back on it and kind of, you know, so many years have gone by now to kind of like mold in your club life, do you feel like that's something that holds military guys? It's a plus or a minus for military guys. Like, if you go in expecting to kind of see a mirror image from your military service, you know, were you kind of not disappointed in the club, but did you have to kind of change your expectations to be more in line with the realities of club life? Was that something you saw?
Yeah, it's hard because club life is different than the military. You know, now I realize it because, like you said, it's been so many years down the road. You know, but in the beginning it was very easy, and that's why I have the issues with clubs like CVMA. You know, those style of clubs that you send them a DD 214 and $20, and now you're a patched member. You know, there's no education that comes with that patch that you're putting on your back, you know, until it's too late. Now a dominant club has snatched your ass up to educate you, you know, because you never got it to begin with, because a DD 214, a DD 214 took the place of probating, you know. So, and basic training doesn't compare you for club life. AIT doesn't compare you for club life. But you could be SF all day long, you know, 20 years in group, whatever you want to throw out there. You know, it doesn't prepare you for club life. It's totally fucking different, you know.
I can pack the hell out of a duffel bag, though.
Yeah.
I can get a lot of shit on my bike if we're going somewhere. I'm a good
Right.
pack.
Right.
So,
you know,
for those that
Dave had a line for that. Is, you know, your DD 214 doesn't do anything except set, you know, give the club that you're looking at basically a laundry list of expectations from you, and it doesn't make anything any easier.
No. But what a DD 214 does now in the position that I'm in, when I see an application come through and I see that you were in the military, this is what I expect. I expect your cut to be squared away at all times. I expect you to fucking be there on time. You know, you're never late. I expect your bike to be PMCS before you go anywhere. You know, I have expectations, higher expectations of you than that guy who's worked at Walmart, you know, and now he's applying for the club, you know, because you have been held to a higher standard for however many years that you did in the military. It's those type of things that I hold you higher, you know. But when it comes to the club, I mean, you still as green as that guy that works at Walmart.
Yeah, absolutely. So for those that, you know, you've posted it before on the page and stuff like that, you are a member of the Warlocks MC. Was that, you know, having that childhood interaction with them and stuff like that too, was that like a place you kind of felt like in the back of your mind you were always going to come home to, or you didn't know and then it just had like, what was it like coming home to be ready to be an official hang around, and then obviously to probate prospect for that club you had so much history with?
I had always wanted to do it. It was a matter of putting myself in a position to where I could do it. What did it feel like? I mean, it was cloud nine, you know. It took me 3 years to put this patch on, you know, and I wouldn't change a thing at all, you know, not a single day of it. You know, there's some rough times, you know, there's some rough times, but I think that's what places more value on the patch, you know.
Were there any members that were still active, not retired or passed away from the time when you were a kid?
Big John, you know, and then everybody knows who he is. You know, he's been on several interviews. You know, Big John is my club dad. I love the man to death. Respect the shit out of him. He's a wealth of knowledge, and that's like an amazing part. You know, he's got 32 years in this year in the club, and just to be able to sit down with him and just talk to him, you know. We discussed on previous episodes that a lot of guys are failing to do that, and they're losing the history and tradition of clubs because they're scared to sit down with these 30 and 40-year-old members, you know, or not 30 and 40-year-old, but guys that have been in the club for 30 and 40.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where everything is at, and it's a privilege. I live 5 miles from them, so it's a privilege and an honor just to be able to sit down and go, hey, Dad, you know, I got a question for you. You know, and, you know, tell me about this, tell me about that. You know, and then of course, Spike and Grayo, you know, Spike and Grayo was a mentor, coming into the club, you know, so hearing how things were in the 60s and the 70s, the 80s, you know, it's pretty damn cool, you know, having those guys around.
Had you lost contact with some of them, like while you're going through, you know, the Army stuff and some of the other things, or were you kind of always bits and pieces in contact, and they could kind of watch you grow through this, and then eventually, you know, come home and find your spot with the Warlocks Motorcycle Club?
You know, it's always been bits and pieces. I've been kind of blessed, you know, with my family. You know, the Warlocks, even when I wasn't home, when I was overseas or in other states, you know, they've attended the club itself. You know, it has attended all my family's funerals. You know, my grandparents, grandmother, grandfather, niece. You know, the club has always attended those funerals. Just based on the relationships, you know, that we've had before I even joined the club.
I know some of our listeners or our readers, they probably do you have an update on the young guy you wrote about who did was that last weekend, who really did a great job? Where's he? What's his status? How's he doing?
He's doing good. He's doing good. He actually sent me a friend's request. I think he got brave and was like, I'm going to send
We're gonna be talking about him. He's gonna have if he's invited or asked to step up and prospect, he's gonna have the worst time ever.
Yeah, and you know, that's the thing. He's setting the bar kind of high for himself now, so he's gonna definitely have to step it up.
And everybody's gonna know who he is now. He's got all this attention.
You know, and one thing I didn't put on the post, that I overlooked it, and I shouldn't have. He came down with a pack of brothers from up north. From the central United States, and one of those brothers, his bike broke down. So what that young man did was he actually gave that brother his bike, so that that brother can continue to ride on twos, and he jumped in a cage and came down. Which did we all know the rules? It was a brother. Had something have happened, who knows? But the thing is the man loves the club that much and respects the brotherhood that much that he gave up his bike, to a full patch and jumped in a cage. So pretty damn honorable, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. He's off to a good start. Hopefully, even now with all this extra attention, he can keep it going.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm telling you, I don't know if I'd want to give my bike up to some of my brothers. I just got that fucking bike.
I guess it would depend on why the other bike broke down before I want to know if I'm giving you another one.
Yeah, if there's no oil in it.
But we give punk rock the same amount of shit about all this attention that he's got when he finally decides to step up and prospect for a club, all the stuff he's going to have to answer for because people know who he is.
Yeah. And I told him we've had a few events that I'm like, hey, punk rock's coming down to the event, and then of course punk rock don't show up. So
okay, so hold. Geriatric prick. Look, every time. Look, hey, he's not technically wrong, right? But I can't really talk about that on the show. Fuck. And you know what the fuck happened.
Yeah, I know what happened. You didn't show up.
Oh, god damn it. I fucking hate you so much right now. Look, all I'm gonna say is some work shit happened. Y'all know what the fuck I do for a living, and that's where I have to leave it at. The last time that I didn't show up, the brother that lives close to me, he wasn't going, and you weren't going to be there. And I felt awkward as fuck just going, riding the fucking 2 hours down there, walking into some fucking clubhouse. I don't know. Be like, oh, hey guys, Silent knows me. What's up? Got him. Nice. Yeah. What's up?
Hey, Silent, while we got you here, I was looking at the inbox, and something that I feel like you always have good topics on and good write-ups on and stuff like that. But if you don't mind sharing, how has your wife kind of adapted to you being a member of a 1% club and as high ranking as you are and stuff like that? Like one of the inbox questions here was, it pertains to like old ladies being around at events and making sure that you understand, a patched old lady is off limits or stuff like that came with the club. But as far as your wife goes, if you don't mind sharing, how has she been with you? How's the journey been for her?
My wife is a trooper. So this is a normal event that we go to. If we go together, which normally she'll drive a car while I ride, just for the fact that she will eventually want to go to the hotel or go home, depending on how far we are or whatever, because she knows I'm constantly getting dragged from a meeting to a sidebar to whatever. But normally we go in the gate together, and she gets her bottle of water and she finds a corner, and that's where she goes to, and she stays in that corner. The other old ladies, of course, they pretty much gravitate together, and they have their own little old lady fucking conversations and people watching and all that shit. And I go and do what I do, So as far as the home life, it's tough at home because, she does get upset because a lot of the time that I'm home is dedicated to the club. I have things that I have to do. I have requirements that I have to meet. And, so even though I'm home, I'm not home if that makes sense. Well, you both understand, military guys, I'm home, but mentally I'm not home because I'm doing something else that I'm not devoting that time to her, you know. Even though we're in the same room, or she could be in the living room and I'm in the office. But she's adapted well. I think she supports me 100%. It doesn't mean that she necessarily likes all the phases of it and the day-to-day life of it. I don't think that she would ever want me to leave the club by any means. But there is a balance. I haven't found it yet.
I want people to listen to that again. Like a high-ranking member of a large 1% motorcycle club is telling you that he hasn't even found the balance yet. And I think that's a big thing for people when they think about stepping up or whatever, or joining a club, is balance. And now you're hearing it from a man of silent stature telling you he hasn't figured it out yet either.
But I'm going to tell you, if a guy tells you that he's found the balance, I want to meet that guy. I want to meet him because I'm probably going to tell him to his face that he's full of shit. Because there's no way to balance it. Everybody preaches family job club. Everybody, I won't say everybody, but there's a large amount of clubs that preach family job club. Okay, you get so tight with the club that the club becomes part of your family. You throw Christmas dinners, Thanksgiving dinners. You have brothers coming to your house, sitting down at the table with your wife and your kids. They are your family. That's not club anymore. You've made them part of your family. So now, is it family job? Because the club went away, right? Because you've made them your family. You see what I'm saying? It's like it's a play on words, but those lines can get very, very blurred on what is what. And then you have brothers that they actually work together. So now it's rolling over into your job aspect. And you can never really break it down and say, from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, I'm doing club. And from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, I'm doing family. And 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, I'm doing my job. And try to break it down evenly to where everything is perfect. It's bullshit. It don't work. You're going to devote more time to one than the other. And if you devote more time to your family than you do to club, that could be a problem. If you devote more time to your job and you ignore your family or the club, it's going to be a problem. So all facets of it, but you're always going to shortchange one or the other two. Always.
Yeah, I feel like it's almost like it's.
I hear people talk about.
Go ahead, Ken.
When I hear people talk about like finding the balance and stuff like that, I don't think that I'm gonna have like this 3-pronged thing that I'm gonna be able to just sit on my finger and just kind of move it around until it stops wiggling and be like, boom, found the balance. I think very much that you list those priorities out, family, job, club, right? Or however you want to do it. And then number 1 and number 2 are going to change constantly, right? Because I figure, number 1 and number 2 is where you're going to put most of your effort. And then, you got this other thing in the peripherals that you're focusing on as well. And then number 3, you'll get to it when you get to it. I think that, those 3 things, you move them around as needed. Like your club's going through a rough time. That's your family. The people that reside in your home that you pay the bills for, they should understand that, hey, look, dad's got to devote some extra time and love to this. So we have to back him on that, and I think the same goes for the club. Like, hey, man, look, like this motherfucker has been straight neglecting his family for the last like 4 or 5 fucking months for us. Why don't we, go over to his house, or why don't we just say, hey, bro, like we want you to come if it's okay with you, but like, dude, you also got to take care of your house too, because you're not going to be a good brother. If you've got all this shit weighing on your mind, you're going to slip up, you're going to make a mistake. Like, I shouldn't say be a good brother, but I think everybody understands what I was trying to say. So I think it's like an ebb and flow thing. I don't think it's a locked in, like I found the balance and this is where it's at.
Right. And the other part that Dave was talking about too is the higher and I don't want to word to use rank, but the higher positions you start holding, the more time you have to dedicate to the club. There's no way around it. You know, the higher you get, now you got to remember you have a nation that depends on you. You know, no longer a chapter or a region, but a entire nation. You know, so that's not something that you just sit down for 15 minutes, you know, once a week or twice a week and, you know, update something in the computer or you make a 5-minute phone call. This is hours every single day, you know, Monday through Friday. And then your Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is usually all day, you know, doing events or, you know, you're on the road traveling or, you know, like you're going to be, you know, you're going to have a hard time balancing it because you're coming to see me at 3 hours away, one way. When you start,
I see what he did there.
yeah. When you start probating.
Well, hey man, he's
So
got
you
a there's some bylaw modifications that gotta happen first.
probably not.
Yeah. So yeah. What did you call me last night? The only probate in history that'll have a lifer tab.
Yeah. That'll be probate for life.
Really?
So for those that don't know what they're talking about, it's because punk rock rides a victory. A shameful victory.
Yes.
You know what, man? They went out of business because they weren't selling fucking repair parts because they built a rock solid machine. Okay.
Is that what we're going with?
That's what we're going with. Hey man, you don't see the only reason you see a Harley dealer every 50 fucking miles is because they know that you only got 55 to make it till a bitch breaks down.
Hey, I will say though, in case I think we've talked about it before, but punk rock can ride the wheels of a motorcycle. He can handle his bike. He's pretty, even on a victory, he's pretty good.
You know how I just trade mine in every 2 years, so I don't have to worry about that fucker breaking.
You also have a mobile home bigger than my house.
You also put 200,000 miles a year on your motorcycle, so yeah, 400,000 miles on a bike is kind of much.
That's part of riding.
Yeah. Yeah, but see, I don't see, man, see, I'm talking all this shit, and I know as soon as I fucking get my road glides, this bitch is gonna break down like every 6 days. You're like, oh, shouldn't have been talking shit. But
you know, most bikes that break down, I'm gonna tell you why. Because they crack the fucking heads. Don't crack the jugs on it. Leave it stock. You know, I mean, you can put your tuner in it and do all, you know, change your pipes and all that, but leave the motor alone. You know, that's most of the bikes that are breaking down.
yep.
I never touch my motor. I put new pipes on it, you know, change the grips, do little dumb shit, put a tuner in it, but I never fuck with the motor.
So did we get punk rock a Harley yet, or where are we at? I missed it.
I think where he's looking at that damn little 1200.
This
Well,
motherfucker.
If he'd hurry up and make E7, you could afford a better bike.
Well, hey, you know, bro, I wish, but dude, that pay raise is only like fucking $200 a month. Like, it's not a huge pay jump. Like, I got a better pay jump.
$1,200.
It's 1200. He said.
1,200 is still pretty good.
2.
Oh,
From E6 to E7.
Yeah, $200
It's like-
a month.
oh my God! You should just get out.
Yeah, right. My biggest pay jump is when I went from E4 to E5 because so in the Navy, when you get promoted, you have like this 6-month waiting period to get actually paid for the pay grade that you're wearing. Super dumb, by the way. So you know, probably look into that. Anyways, when I started getting paid for E5, I went over a year group and up a pay grade. So with that, you know, with my tenure going up, my pay grade going up, and my allowance for housing going up, I got like $1,000 a month pay raise. I was like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but no, the way things are moving right now, I should have that bike paid off next year in August or July.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then I plan on holding on to it for a little bit and paying off some other shit, and then probably by the end of next year I'll be on a road glide.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
the whole club life, we all laugh and we joke, but all of us are dedicated to the club, to each of our own clubs. All of our clubs have problems, internal problems, um, but it's club life. I think it's part of life. Everybody has a different mentality. Um, the the thing is to stick it out. You got to stick it out. You got to fix it. You can't fix anything by leaving, by quitting. Um, you can't fix anything by not participating. You got to jump in with both feet, and you got to make the best of what you got.
Wait a minute. I can't just complain about something and it'll fix itself.
That's very common. It's very common. There's a lot of people that think, well, I'm just going to bitch and bitch and bitch, but they don't ever come with a solution. It's only a problem. It's always a problem. And I think that military-minded people, we've been taught that, hey, come to me with the problem, but bring a solution with you. It may not be the solution that we choose to fix the problem, but at least you're bringing a solution and not just a fucking problem. It's common. It's common. I see it every day.
Ken, is that how you feel as an LPO?
100%. 100%. I would much rather somebody come to me like with some like outlandish shit too. Like I would much rather hear some dumb shit roll out of your mouth as a solution, because at least you put a half-assed effort into it. You know what I'm saying? But people that just want to sit there and bitch, moan, complain, it's like, dude, why don't you, suck 10 dicks and get the fuck out? Like,
Is that a solution?
yeah, that's a solution. You don't
Not
fucking like
11.
it, don't raise your hand again, motherfucker.
Not 11 dicks. Just suck 10, motherfucker, and come back with the answer.
Well, no, it's just implied that 11th dick is gonna happen because it's always one to beat Army.
Oh, motherfucker.
So I don't know if you have before with young guys coming up, or if you have something to share with the readers, but like for new cats that are either getting into it, looking at it, or if you want to share an example, young guys that have probated for your club, is there like a go-to piece of advice that silent 1%er is going to give them about the 1% probating in general?
Number one is patience. I think patience is the number one virtue in probating, or one of the number ones. And I say that because when you start probating, you're so eager. You want what everybody else has, and you want it now. You see somebody getting their patch, you want your patch. You see guys, guys that drink, you want a beer, you want to relax, you want to sit down, there's no patience in probating. And that really makes it a lot easier is if you instill some patience. There's another saying that you do things the best you can, and then you try to do it better. And that's important in probating because you're going to do it wrong. Doesn't matter what the fuck you do, it's wrong. Even though it could be right, it's going to be wrong because you're a probate. And that's what it is, that they're just trying to teach you. There's other ways of doing things. There's your way may be good, but there's a better way to do it. That when you have clubs, and my club is old, they've already been through the trials and tribulations. They've already experienced war. They've experienced losses of brothers, and the good times and the bad. And if you can sit back and learn all those things, it helps your transition, a lot smoother into being eventually being a brother.
Dude, that is one of the worst, one of the best and the worst though. Like if you are coming up with somebody probating and they're ahead of you and they get their patch, that's like the best and worst day of your life too. Because now you're like, shit, like I'm by myself. I don't have that guy anymore. But you're also really pumped that they got it because it's like, okay, I could, my day could be coming, next month, next whatever, however long you got left to go yet. But you're just like, oh, fuck, I wish I still had that guy to help me.
And there's a story. I got a brother of mine named Knuckles, great brother. He was telling me a story. This is way before I was in the club. But even to this day, probates, and it's not a club secret, so my brothers can't get mad at me. Probates have to count their days, right? You go up to a probate, ask him how many days you got, and he tells you how many days he has, right? How many days he's been probating. And back in the old days, a probate can beat up another probate and take his days from him. Whoever won got the days. So
what?
Yeah. So laughing at what you're talking about, if you got 150 days and I got 100 days and I beat you up, now I got 250 days and you're back to zero.
I would never go near anybody that was bigger than me. I would just be like, you know what? I'm gonna go find a job to do over here.
Yes. And I used to do that as a probate. I would get somewhere and I would find like the best vantage point. I love working the bar. The bar is the best place for a probate to be. You work your ass off, but you get to meet everybody because 95% of the club drinks. I don't care what club we're talking about. 95% of club guys drink. So you got to meet everybody when they came up there to get a beer or get a drink. You got to introduce yourself and got to know all those people. That's the best places for a probate to work, in my opinion.
And nobody's gonna come and beat up the bartender.
Right. I don't know about that, but we'll go with it. And I used to get, if I couldn't work the bar, I'd try to place myself somewhere where there was a lot of traffic, so I could see people and I could meet people and introduce myself and be not in the know, but in the action to learn something. You have a lot of probates. And I think in the club world in general that they want to hide because they don't want to do work or they don't want to get fucked with, so they'll put themselves in a situation that there's not a lot of people around and they think they're benefiting themselves, but they're really not,
we have some listeners though that are going to implement that fight that steal your days rule now. That's going to be in the inbox by the time whenever Punk Rock gets done editing this episode and it airs. That's going to be in the inbox. Like, yeah, we just put that into our bylaws. Probates from smashing each other all week.
Yes.
I'm actually going to encourage that. Like in the write up here, Silent One Percenter says beat up people for their days.
Can you imagine like being a probate and riding your bike to the clubhouse to work, and all of a sudden another probate just comes out of nowhere, just starts kicking your ass
up. Yes.
Do you know how many? Like they're gonna have to. Like so many clubs are gonna start doing this, and they're gonna have to start making rules. For like, all right, if a probate's taking the trash out and he's got his hands full, you can't just run up and hit him with a chair.
Fight Club rules.
Hey, who knows?
But there's so many things that I could probably say about probating, but I don't know. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to put into words without actually experiencing it. I've told a lot of guys when they're, as probates, man, enjoy your probate period. That's the time when you can make mistakes and basically get a free pass. You may get an ass chewing, you may have to fucking cut the grass, there's some sort of punishment that may be involved, but it's a lot less punishment than having the patch on your back and making that mistake. You know, that's the time. Probating is the time to make your mistakes. That's the time to learn. And I don't know. I mean, that's what I think about probate.
What for whatever you can share, what was it for you? What was it like when you got your patch, the day you patched in?
Oh man, euphoria. It was. I was on cloud nine the night I patched in. Um, I won't go into detail on mine, but when I patched in, I immediately went into a position of responsibility. Um, so it was short lived. Um, because there were some other situations, but uh, you can't replace that. It's a one time fucking thing. Um, what I would like to see, and for everybody even, is when you patch in a guy, regardless of the club, make it memorable. Make it memorable for that guy, because it happens one time. Unless of course you lose your patch and you get it back, but you don't get it back under those same circumstances. That, hey man, this guy just fucking probated for 2 years, and he's earned the right to wear the patch. You get center punched or whatever. You just did your fucking discipline time, and you're getting your patch back. But it's not the same. It's not the same high as it was after fucking probating so long. You know. But don't give them a patch at a gas station or a fucking rest area. Do it in a situation that the brother would never fucking forget it, and the brothers around them are like, yeah, we're doing this. We're a family. Make that patch member fucking remember it for the rest of his life. Do that. Um, I'll never forget mine. Never. Big John gave me my patch, you know, um, and that's a day I'll never ever forget.
I like that. I like that. Don't give it to him in a gas station.
Yeah,
I feel like there's some out there that would do that, and I like that. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't give it to him in the mail. CVMA.
Hey, Punk Rock, you got anything else for us?
No, man. I'm just sitting here learning from Silent, man. This is my it's an unofficial dad right here, bro.
He's kind of creeping me out though, because we're watching each other. And Punk Rock's like laid out on the bed and shit, and fucking got his arm up.
Yeah, you have
I'm not
every
even
time.
wearing pants. I've been slow stroking this entire episode. Did that weird.
Every time we record, he's in bed. I don't get it.
This is the only place I have privacy because I'm so ugly. My wife doesn't even want to come into the bedroom, so this is like my room. So that's cool. This is the only place I have privacy. Because if I go anywhere else in the house, my two fucking crotch goblins will run in and be like, "Hey, Dad, can I have a string cheese?" It's like, motherfucker, you didn't eat dinner. And I told you, I'm trying to pretend to be cool right now. You can't come in here. Please don't punk me in front of my friends' children.
But
And
do you give him the string cheese? Do you give him the string cheese?
Well, yeah, I guess I'm go away.
And the other good thing about this life, or the amazing thing about this life, is the people is what makes the life that much better. Because at that point it's not about what club you're in. It's about the caliber of people that are in the club life. I mean, look at the staff. Look at the quality of men that are on the staff. Has nothing to do what club they're in. Club doesn't mean shit. It's the caliber of the individual. And you meet these people all the time. I mean, look how you and I met, Punk Rock.
Yeah.
We actually met through social media, and when you were in California,
Yeah.
In Andar, we've met, through the internet as well. I mean, but it all revolved around the club scene. It wasn't like Tinder or some bullshit. It was we all met because we have the same interests. It's club life.
I think to your point though, like same interests will only take you so far. I had the same interest as some writers at the other page. I don't choose to hang out with them in my free time.
Right.
I don't choose to converse with them in my free time. But, a lot of the guys that were there were just so stand up that you wanted to do something else with them. If you wanted to go and keep writing, and because you enjoy the culture and preserving it and stuff like that, you didn't want to leave those guys behind. So,
Right.
You were able to build that foundation or that friendship or whatever have you, that respect, and then bring it over to something else and keep it going. And now, like we asked Jim the other day in an episode, I think he said he was writing for like 6 years or something like that. I mean, you, yourself, Professor Blade, y'all have to be at that, if not more. The time you guys have been around each other. I mean, there's guys that don't even make it that long in an actual club.
Right. Yeah,
And for the most part, I think a lot of us, I can't speak for the West Coast guys, but the majority of the East Coast guys and stuff like that have been to each other's areas, have met up, will meet up, whatever the case may be. And I'm sure it's the same for our West Coast writers too. But yeah, it's a very cool thing.
Yeah. Drifter and I met 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I think we met. And we met in Virginia. We were both in the Men of War. He was in the Virginia chapter, and I was the president of the Florida chapter. So, and that's how we met. We've been friends ever since. Of course, we've left that club and went and moved to different directions. But we all got, we got started there. I don't know if Jim was in a club prior to Men of War or not. I don't know, but that was my first club.
He's so old; he's probably been in another club.
Yeah.
Probably he was. I heard he was one of the founding members of Yonkers MC.
Yeah. Oh, that's not. He's not even here tonight to defend himself.
It's 7:40, so he'd be asleep anyway.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Yeah, but as far as us, I mean, look at our chat group, for example. That chat goes off all day and well into 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm in quarantine.
Well, it doesn't bother me. I just mute it. But look at the conversations. I mean, it's relationships that are built because it's 12 hours or more of conversating, and it's very little that we really talk about the page. It's about what Andar's got going on, or how short punk rock is, or it's shit like that. We're actually talking about our personal lives with each other and sharing our day-to-day our day-to-day issues and activities with each other. And that's what I said is we started out, the club life kind of brought us together. Like you're saying, Dave, club life was the general thing that brought us together, and then we expanded from there, to a different level.
Yeah.
In my defense, I'm pretty sure. Listen, guy. I am very sure that I am taller than Chris.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Chris, you guys might know him on the page, Rewired 1%er. I think Punk Rock might have him beat by a couple of inches.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
If you're listening to this, Chris, I'm sorry, but you're pretty short, bro.
I'm not sorry, you midget ass motherfucker.
Really?
You Bill Baggins looking ass bitch.
He told us once. I think he told us once that he's 5'6".
Yeah, I think he was like 5'6", 5'7". We're like, oh, yes.
No, I see him. I see him post pictures once in a while. He's not 5'7".
Can't you get a disability check for that?
I'm pretty sure he gets handicap placards.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna tell him this is in there. I'm just gonna apologize when he figures it out. When he comes into the chat to yell at us, then I'll be like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, just hey, that's how we'll know if he's listening to the show still.
That's a good point. Yeah. That's a good point.
See?
Yeah. This was just a test.
Yeah, see, we actually got together prior to the show being, recorded, And this was just to make sure this was like a quality assurance for the show. That's all.
Hey, well, I got to get going. We got any, we got silent here. What are you going to send us home with? Give us one piece give us a good silent 1%erism before we sign off.
Fuck.
Yeah, put 'em on.
Just there we go. Just fuck.
As far as the club life goes, I'm gonna go with the Big John statement and the Grub Freeland. Be a man, pay your dues, ride your fucking motorcycle.
Hell yeah.
That's the perfect way to end.
I'm really good with that. So, Silent, Dad, thank you so much for coming on, man, for taking time out of your day. You know, your bastard children really do. We really do appreciate that. You know,
Absolutely,
we know
it was awesome. Thank you so much.
Anytime. I told you all I gotta do is just let me know.
Yeah, that's not planning's not our strong suit.
It's really not. It's also a Wednesday. Like we normally do this shit on Thursdays. But actually, so this actually might end up being next week's episode. I don't know yet. But tomorrow we are recording with one of Tragic's brothers, right?
Yep.
Is that what's going on? So that's going to be pretty fucking cool. Another Florida guy.
No, not the Florida brother.
No, not that one.
Nope, he's going to be another time. We're doing the Oklahoma brother first.
I am suddenly less interested in this. All right, so I mean, I'm just kidding. No, but I'm just really excited. We're getting a lot of people on. Jeff Holt, you're next. So check us out on Instagram and Facebook, man. That's where we have a lot of our written articles. Andar is predominantly the guy that does our Instagram, and he is fucking hilarious.
No, he's mad about it. The login and the password is in the goddamn chat. Would you motherfucker start using it? Jesus.
But he's also fucking hilarious.
I mean, I don't blame Silent. He probably doesn't even know how to use Instagram, so that doesn't count.
Well,
no, I have Instagram. There's a bunch of hot chicks I follow on it.
you got hold up, time out. You can put Instagram on a jitterbug?
Yeah.
See, he's so old he doesn't even know what a jitterbug is.
Hey, it's okay there, probate. I got
I'm gonna buy my Road Glide when I get stationed back in California and be like, oh, sorry, it was all about that timing you were talking about, right?
They're gonna send you up to the sub base in Connecticut.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. We got chapters up there.
Yeah, fuck.
All right, I gotta go. I'll see you guys later.
All right. You guys have a good one. Dad, thanks again for coming. I'm gonna quit. I think I've said everything I gotta say, and we'll see you guys next week.